Why do people produce art? Written by Professor Dr. Sinan Canan. Translated from the original language by Hazal Awad. Edited by Zeynep AKDAŞ and Elif ÇAVUŞOİLU. Recorded by Elif ÇAVUŞOİLU. People who are engaged with brain sciences often find themselves challenging some complicated matters about spirit, consciousness, free will, creativity, art, and so on. Because being engaged with brain sciences means that one makes effort to understand how the top control center works, that includes the programs of its reaction repertoire and directs the behavior of human. While experiencing essential difficulties in understanding even our simple reflexes and activities, it is not easy to explain such advanced human activities, ambiguous concepts, and the way the brain mediates them. Perhaps the ones who are studying the brain, like us, should especially focus on the matter or what the basic differences are that separate us from the other beings with whom we share our world with. If you look at brains in the sense of material pattern, you can immediately see that the structure between them is not very different. The only important difference in the fashion of structure and segmentation is the degree of development of the brains. The human brain does not differ greatly from the brain of a dolphin, an elephant, or a monkey. But the small-looking differences include the mysterious circuits and centers that could possibly host a great precipice between human beings and these aforementioned creatures. What's our difference? When we go back through human history, the time gaps between the findings of humans grow and the interruptions begin to increase. Although we do not know exactly how long we have been on this earth, it seems possible to talk about a history dating back to 150-200,000 years. When we look at the first difference humans have produced since the earliest times, we see neither technological works, nor functional designs, nor other things. The first signs that are left behind are all about art. Paintings drawn on the cave walls thousands of years ago, though their aim is still not totally clear, show us the human brain's ability to produce abstract works with clues of the tangible reality as the first and the most significant difference that separates it from the animal. The pictures on the cave walls, which you presume to have been produced almost 40,000 years ago, make it clear how human beings, whose existence on Earth was not even at a certain level yet, carried out that deep production capacity that is given in an irresistible and time-defying way. Well, what makes art so inseparable from human beings? What is it that makes human beings so captivated by art? Moreover, why is art so far from our lives today and has even turned into a professional occupation or is made perceived so in some way? The source of art in our mind or in our brain is one of our most difficult questions. With our technology today, we can view the brains of people who produce art, measure their level of chemicals, and we can observe our brains with techniques that we could not even imagine 20-30 years ago. We should admit that, despite the knowledge we keep accumulating every day, we do not have much idea about art and similar hard questions. Yet, to me, the crucial points we catch whisper interesting clues about ourselves to us, about the essence that was blown to each of us during the creation. The most important difference that distinguishes our brain from similar creatures is especially the fact that the frontal areas are advanced. The frontal brain lobe, which is just below our forehead, is abnormally large compared to other creatures. The other parts are almost exactly like what we see in other creatures. Our top and front brain areas are so big that just because of this, we have to give birth to our babies earlier, and we have to wait several years after the birth for the brain to develop. Actually, the circuits in this anterior part of our brain provide us with the necessary infrastructure to be endowed with many talents that other creatures do not have. Our free will, our social skills, the ability to postpone instant pleasures for a future reward, a life of morality, speech, reasoning and problem solving, and many other skills occur through some complex neural calculations that find place between these circuits. When these circuits get damaged, we are confronted with sick people who are unable to perform many or some of these abilities. Another feature that these anterior parts of the brain provide us with is its limited control over our emotional functions, which are carried out by the deeper areas of our brain, and more importantly, that it enables us to express those unique experiences, our feelings, in various ways. Our abilities that allow us to give life to expressions of our emotions in various forms like poetry, novel, paintings and music flourish thanks to the coordination characteristics of these advanced circuits which we have not solved yet. The art center in the brain. Coordination is actually a very important concept in understanding the autistic mind. There is no special art center or no special art core that will grant people an innate artistic talent. It seems that producing art makes many different parts of the brain work in coordination, and that there occur meaningful tunes, that is to say, various artistic works from this complex orchestra. Art, rather than being the function of a certain part, is seen as a process of bringing alive the concrete results of all experiences that have been accumulating within the brain and mind throughout life by a series of unique and complex processes that are unrepeatable. From this point of view, since every human being has these circuits, we all have an artist's brain at varying levels. Art requires a brain that is developed at the human level, not only to produce, but to understand and to make sense. To capture the same frequency as the thoughts that are meant to be expressed in a painting, a piece of music, within the emotions of a verse, to make those feelings flourish once more in yourself by building empathy for it, is an interesting feature of us that forms the base to enjoy art. As there is diversity while producing art, like being personal and subjective, the same counts for diversity in the perception of art. So, if we say that art can only be understood by the brain that produces it, then we will not be wrong in this manner. What are we losing? To conclude, art is perhaps the most important feature that distinguishes us from other beings with a brain. Since the days that human beings have begun to wander on Earth, they started to change their environment by adding the artistic designs that they were producing in their minds to the world around them. We know that even many technological inventions flourished out of artistic drawings and ideas. Interestingly, as a child of the Industrial Revolution, today's basic education rationale, a thorn in the side, has made us put our economically well-merited mind activities that are based on technique and problem solving on the primary place, and has pushed us to stay indifferent to human mind activities that are related to art, and this has been flourishing as a lifestyle throughout centuries. That is, art is today only seen as a rich occupation or as a harmless hobby to relax every now and then, in addition to the principal ensured paid profession. The price of this is actually quite heavy. We have been pushing many of our advanced mind activities so out of our life that they are atrophied, and we have been alienated to those which are such basic hardware components of us that they even have made us paint on cave walls. I am one of those who think that this alienation is a large underlying reason for our fundamental problems, like being unable to understand each other deeply, being alienated from natural processes in the world, and not being able to form our own civilization. We know that the right half of our brain is more of the artistic and innovative phenomena, and that the left part is more of the uniformity and the repetitive work. It seems that we have established the vast majority of our lives and the civilization we live in largely on our left brain. Certainly, a system built up only by the right half of our brain would not enable us to survive, because it would be impossible to live in a world where everything is unclear, vague, subjective, and without repetition. But we are not good either. Look again at our aesthetic level. You will see what we have lost. One day, while you are experiencing an artwork that you admire, stop and think for an instant. Would it be bad if those mind abilities that mirror this art could contribute a little bit to our everyday lives? If a Rembrandt, a Grandmaster, a Johann Sebastian Bach, a Gabriel Garcia Marquez, a Mehmet Akif could touch our lives more, What kind of civilization would we have? Unfortunately, we do not know the answers yet, but it's not too late to learn. Therefore, we should start using those parts in our head that we do not make use of swiftly without wasting any time.